UFC 323. It's going to be very exciting, guys. I am a huge fan of Merab, and of course I have him winning this fight. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there now. I'll delve into kind of my synopsis of the whole thing. I'm actually about to rewatch the very first fight and then give my actual synopsis of that first fight in the next excerpt of this kind of video, or this narration rather. So before I do that, I have a few things I want to talk about, and that is, of course, the fact that Merab Dvalishvili, the second time around that he fought Sean O'Malley, found the submission. So perhaps there is a pattern of him figuring out the fighters the second time around and able to find the finish. He has more confidence. He has he has them figured out. He's fought them before, so he's more confident. He's going to go in there, and I think he's going to find the finish, especially when you consider the fact as well that I haven't even watched the first fight yet, but I know it was a complete shutout. I did watch it live when it happened, and I know that it was a complete shutout. Merab was it was a very impressive victory. It was a 5-rounder too. People don't realize that, but it was actually a main event. It wasn't for the title. Of course, that was the Sean O'Malley fight. The first one, I believe, is when he won the title. This was just a main event on a fight night, and it was a 5-rounder. It went to a decision, and it was a very, very impressive victory. If you have not watched the first fight yet, I highly recommend you do. It was seriously one of the most impressive performances I've seen at bantamweight, I would say, especially for that style, right? That forward pressure, that heavy wrestling, just insane. He had 6 minutes of control time. He threw how many strikes? 400 total strikes. He threw or attempted 49 takedowns, and he landed 11 of those 49 takedowns. And that's according to UFCstats.com. Just a complete. I'm pretty sure that's actually a record, as a matter of fact. I'm not 100% sure, but that has to be a record for the UFC for the amount of takedowns attempted and probably made in a single fight. 49 takedown attempts is absolutely bonkers, I must say. And yeah, 400 strikes as well. No fucking joke there. So with that being said, I think the second time around, with it being that much of a shutout, the second time around, he's going to find the finish. There's just no way he doesn't, right? Especially when you consider the fact, like I said, with the Sean O'Malley fight, the second time he fought him, he found the finish. So we'll see. The other thing I wanted to talk about, too, is the fact that Petr Yan has been pretty active as well. It's not like he's been completely inactive, especially since that loss against Merab. As a matter of fact, his last two fights, he has won them both against Figueiredo and Song Yadong, both impressive victories. Figueiredo is no joke, guys. Figueiredo is a very impressive fighter. The fact that he came up from flyweight and did what he did at bantamweight is no joke. So he's a champion, and I do think it was a good matchup for Petr Yan. I think he matches up well against Figueiredo, and I don't think he matches up very well against Merab. I mean, that's evident, like I said, in the first fight. Now, you never know, guys. He could come in the second time around, and he could have Merab figured out, right? He could also have that edge on Merab coming in the second fight as well. But guys, Merab is a beast. Every fight he has, I'm always like, wow, this dude is. He always seems like a potential GOAT every time I see him fight again. You know what I mean? Like it seems like he always just gets better and better and better each fight. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that whole ordeal. How old is Merab, by the way? Let me check real quick. It looks like he's 34 years old. So 34 years old. I mean, and Petr Yan's 32. So, I mean, age is really no factor in this fight. I think that Merab has it seems like he could be one of those champions that would last until 40 years old, or a fighter rather. Will he have a reign that long? Who knows? But yeah, I could see Merab lasting up to 40 years in the business. He's just an absolute beast. But who knows? The other thing too I wanted to talk about with the Merab Petr Yan fight, man, is the fact that the buildup of the first fight, people don't realize how good that buildup was, man. Merab is underrated when it comes to his I guess trash talking, you could call it. It's like a humble trash talking in a way. I always like to look at it that way. And the other thing, the one thing that I always find interesting about it is the fact that he always gets super geopolitical with his trash talk. It's kind of interesting, especially when he fights fighters that are tied to his region. Like, for example, the last fight with Petr Yan, he was talking about, he was calling Petr Yan a Russian bully and all of this crazy stuff that kind of plays into the geopolitics of that region of Georgia. If you don't know, Georgia is essentially it's an ex-Soviet Union republic. It's an ex-Soviet Union state, and it's kind of battling with that identity in a way. It's had a lot of issues with, or however you look at it. I'm not here to say one way or another, but essentially it's being torn between the West and Russia. And Russia has invaded the country and taken back some of the land that it once had in the Soviet Union times. And it's taken, I think, like 20% of the country. It's a very small country. And one of the most infamous Soviet Union leaders is actually from there. Joseph Stalin was born in Georgia. He spoke Georgian, and he ended up becoming the leader of the Soviet Union. But yeah, that's a little rabbit hole for you there. But that's one interesting aspect of this fight buildup between Merab and Petr is the fact that it's got that kind of that, how do you say, that nationalism rivalry behind it. And I think Merab's going to use that in the buildup of the fight. Again, I think he's going to talk about that maybe, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch and listen to. And like I said, I think Merab is really underrated on the mic. I hope that during this build-up, Petr has some English in the press conference. I think that would be really fun. I think Petr's English has gotten a little better over the years, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he speaks a ton of English, but I think he's probably gotten a little bit better over the years. So I think we might see some English from him this press conference. I think this press conference is going to be really, really fun. And I think Merab is going to be the star of the card in that way.